Our destination?
Self-care in our 30s.
Let's go for a ride.
Welcome to Girls Trip. Today we are talking self-care in our 30s because we are
In our 30s.
Joy thought this day may never come for her, but we got you.
Yeah.
You're here. You're part of us.
Begrudgingly. I am here. Yeah. And it's good. It's all good.
And
I'm fine.
I feel
Everything's
like,
fine.
so wait, I'm 33,
32.
32. And you're
31.
31.
Oh, so cute, guys.
Oh my gosh, little baby over there.
It feels so good to be young. That's all I'm saying.
It's just so funny because we've all known each other basically our whole lives, but we weren't like close our whole lives. We were kind of from a distance. And like growing up, I thought you were like 7 years younger than me.
And I thought the same. I was like, she's like 10 years older than me.
Yeah, I thought you were like 10 years older than me.
I mean, I thought I was a full-grown adult by age 12. So
it was probably a maturity thing.
Yeah,
Let's be
we were
honest.
just like living, playing in the mud. And
Lauren was on her 12th business.
Yeah, she's like, I'm starting a non.
Yeah, that's definitely what that was about.
But I do think this is an interesting conversation that we've sort of been having with each other, because I think the idea of self-care does really change when you hit your 30s.
Yeah.
Like,
Totally.
You're forced to prioritize things that you didn't really have to think about in your 20s.
Yeah.
You have like a new sort of set of responsibilities and obligations, and maybe like marriage or homes or, other things are coming into play that, weren't as big of a part of your life in your 20s. And it's just, I think like self-care, the term has taken on a life of its own in like social media and stuff to mean like very superficial things. And it's not that it can't be those things sometimes. It can be the like bubble bath and face mask and whatever. I just think that is like a very small part of what really taking care of yourself looks like.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it has an opposite effect sometimes because when you say social media self-care, the first thing I think of is the ridiculously long videos of like the candles being lit and then not just like the bath, but like the board that goes on the bath with the nuts and the book and then this massive screen that's in the corner, and then there's a popcorn bowl, and then there's a bath bomb,
You're like, that's
and
never
then there's
happening.
a mask, and then there's under eye things, and then there's cucumber. It's all this stuff that even if you did all that, like even if you didn't do all that, but you did like a microcosm of it, and you are expecting to feel so much better at the end of it. Because I've been on the end of that where you're like, I should feel great right now.
Right.
I
don't feel refreshed.
I have all the hot stones on me. And I still feel
nothing is being
I still don't
recharged
feel
or anything.
right. So I think it sends a wrong message. Maybe some people do need a break and need that in their life, but something like we can't do that every night for 45 minutes, you know, like it's also expensive. So to have all these amazing products, like that's not, maybe it's something like that was fun to do on a girls' night or whatever it is. But I do think it's different in our 30s. Yeah.
And I think it's like that might not fulfill or satisfy like the area that you need the self-care in. Like doing self-care for the sake of self-care doesn't produce the results you want it to. So I think it's identifying like, where do I feel like on E, and like how do I fill that part
area
of me to care for myself. And like not doing it in like a super self-indulgent way or like a super selfish way. Like they've tried to do this whole campaign over the last like I don't know how many years about like self-care is not selfish. But then the things that they're showing like are like you don't have
100%.
to step away from all the other things in your life to take care of yourself.
Nor should you. You shouldn't have to feel like, okay, I need to set a time.
Well, it's just not realistic.
Yeah.
Like I
You're not gonna
can't
do that.
stop being a mom for to take care of myself. So I think it's like identifying those things. And one of the ways like that we have really worked at in 2024 was being really intentional about having girl time. Like we were putting dates on the calendar far in advance to have nights together, and most of those nights were in one of our homes.
Yeah.
Or it could have been at the diner.
Or at the
Yeah,
diner.
I think that was really, I think we only went to a diner or our houses.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that was
it. No, we didn't need to do this
We
crazy
didn't go
event.
to
We
the-
didn't need to go get our
yeah.
nails done. We
The
didn't
mall.
go to the mall. We didn't need to do anything. Just
It was
be with
just
each other.
being with
That
each
was it.
other.
And I mean, food was involved, but
Always. It's always involved.
A snack was there. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Multiple.
I think that we really protected that time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like once it was on the calendar, it was like, it's on the calendar.
Yeah, this
like,
is not being moved.
I'm busy. Then
our husbands also knew. Like,
They knew.
ooh, no, don't
Do not make plans.
And I think at different times throughout the year, like sometimes it looked like doing something like really themed where we were like going all out and that was fulfilling us. And other times it looked like showing up in our pajamas and eating a lot of chips and guac and
just
like,
hanging out.
you know, just hanging out. And I left refreshed
Mm-hmm.
every time. I was like, this feels like I'm taking care of myself because I am really relaxing. And that feels really good. And that was something that, I had maybe lost sight of a little bit trying to fit into to the calendar, and I'm glad that I did. And I think even especially as you become a parent, it does get harder and harder to like carve that time out. But you feel like a new person going back to like your kids and your family. You're like, okay,
I'm ready.
We don't know that yet.
Yeah,
we don't
not quite
have.
there.
We don't have that yet to feel like I need my own space. But I mean, I've been working from home with Thomas, who's now working from home for like 6 months now. So I'm starting to feel that, not so much that like I need a break, but more like I just want to see a different face. Yeah. Like that'd be great if I just saw an additional face. So yeah.
Well, it changes the dynamics because it's like you can't sit down at dinner and have a conversations about your day. It's like, well, I saw you
literally had the whole conversation all day long. There was no break.
So even that, like, because my husband also works from home. So it's like when I go to a girls' night, you know, he's like, what'd you do? Tell me about your night. Like, have something to talk about. So it's like refreshing in a lot of different areas. Like I feel like I can come back and be a better mom. It gives me something to talk about with my husband. I feel like I had a real break. So definitely look to be intentional about taking that time with your friends. And it doesn't have to be crazy. And I know it's like only going to be feasible at different levels for different people. Like, you know, if I was in my newborn stages with my kids, I wouldn't have been able to do that the same way because I'm nursing every 2 hours. So like that's not as possible. So, you know, it's going to look different. But if you are at a stage where you're like, oh, maybe I could stretch myself to make this happen, like do it.
Do it. So going off of the in-person stuff, so we found, or I introduced them to something called an app called Marco Polo, which a friend of mine who is long distance, we started using to keep in touch. So it was, I think you guys, I don't even know how I told you about it, but I was just like,
she was like, get on this app right now.
Yeah,
Download it this second.
I honestly have no idea how I introduced this because I don't know why I brought it up. I have no idea, but I found that it was a really great way to stay connected with my friend because it's not necessarily a live conversation. Yeah. You can be live and listen to each other, but you can basically just leave a video and it can be an hour long, which we've discovered is very easy to talk that long. And I was using it a lot in my car because I drive about 45 minutes, sometimes to an hour back and forth from my job. So I would go off. And they would be bearing with me and just watching all 45 minutes of like, you know, nonsense or important things. We'd be catching up.
Right.
So I think that's probably why I was like, let's stay in touch this way. But you don't feel pressured to be on in that moment. You don't feel pressured to, you know, respond right away. You can watch it whenever you have the time. You could watch a video of it or you could listen to it. And I think that really helped us stay connected instead of texting all the time.
But I think there was a point where we were like blowing up each other's phones.
Yes.
110%.
And it would be for like, you know, 3 hours and it would be quick responses or whatever.
Like
but
if you didn't catch that and you like came back to your phone, you're like, I have 47 messages. What is happening?
Yeah. And instead of sending like, you know, a voice message or whatever, this was just a little bit different.
Yeah. It's more fun.
It was a little bit more fun to have that connection. And
sometimes you need a brain dump too.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it was also like those big
need,
stories that we didn't want to have to text out.
Yes.
I can just say them. And it could be, again, from wherever, your car, which I found is where I go from mostly.
Totally safe.
Yeah. Listen, it's on the dash, on its own phone stand. I'm focused ahead. I think that's what actually makes it great.
You'll be so surprised to hear I listen in the shower.
Yeah.
That's probably why I think of Rebecca.
Perfect.
Why am I thinking of her breath
That's
all the
why,
time?
because I'm listening into it pull in the
It's
shower.
like my favorite chore thing. Like when I'm, getting ready or when I'm folding laundry or like cooking, that's when I catch up.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
it
great.
brings us again, like if you're having, whatever, a crazy week, again, you don't always feel the pressure. You might if there's like 10 videos that you miss, but that's not the purpose of it. And it's like, when you can listen to, you listen to. And I think that's what was really helpful and added another like layer to the friendship and talking, because we could still have conversations, see each other's faces, even if we didn't
go
have
about
a
our
busy...
day, do whatever we need to, and then come back.
And I think that's what I really appreciated about the app is I could see you, because my friend she lives in Colorado. So seeing her face versus just texting it was like, oh, I saw you like yesterday. Yeah. Like when I would go to visit her, I'd be like, I feel like I've seen you like 2 days ago, which I did.
That's so true.
So it develops relationships, I think, a little bit differently than through a text message.
So true.
So I really, really love that.
And as you go through, like we just said, different phases of your life, like you can't see everyone in person.
It's impossible.
all of the time.
Not in life right now. It's we got too much going on.
Yeah. And so it's nice that whenever you do have that pocket of time, like you're not waiting for the other person to also be available.
Yes. It's just
like,
I'm
so
going to
good.
say hello or brain dump or tell you my list of things I need to get from the grocery store.
Yeah. But that is like, brain dumping is a form of self-care.
Totally.
Right? Like whether that's writing a list before you go to bed, whether that is journaling, whether it's sending a polo to your friends, talking to your husband, like whatever that is, like I think I definitely sleep better when I'm not like
100%
trying to work through things when I feel like I got it all out.
I think that's my way of making my list now. It's like not at night, but the next morning when I'm driving to work, I'm like, okay, guys, so this is my plan. I need to go to the grocery store. I need to do this. I forgot to do that.
This is what it's like.
You do that.
Right?
You're like,
Do
this
that?
is my day. That's
I'm
so
like,
funny.
this is my day. It's not at night. It's on Polo in the morning.
I love it. Sometimes it's even when you're brushing your teeth.
Yes, it is. Yes. You get more comfortable with it and you start poloing at very
We've seen
random
all the
times.
angles.
Yeah.
All the angles.
In the car, the phone is dropped. Sorry, guys.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
it's been great.
And it's great. So friendship on the self-care.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big check.
So something that is really important to me is to have a tidy home, because again, I work there and it's just important to me. Right now we're living in a 1-bedroom apartment as I look for a house, which is really difficult to do in New Jersey. If you're in that with us, Godspeed.
We're all on a boat there.
Oh man. So you know how it is if you've experienced the housing market right now, really anywhere, it's really tough. So anyway, we live in a tiny 1-bedroom apartment as we look, and it is so easy for clutter to fill a small space. Like so easy. So for me, when I have a messy space, I feel burdened. So it's incredible what that does to my mental health. If it's clean, I suddenly feel like I can do anything, versus if it's not, it's, well, I'm a failure in all areas. And it's incredible how much of an effect that has on me, that's probably another discussion. But I always feel like it's just not something, I don't enjoy cleaning. Like it's not something I enjoy doing. Like I can't wait till 5 o'clock and work's over and now I can clean it. Even though I like my space clean, I don't look forward to it. On the flip side of that, something else that gives me really good like peace of mind, since I was little, unless it was told to me by a teacher to do, then I would hate
you're
it.
like, absolutely not.
But I love reading. I love to read. I'm a slow reader though. I like to absorb it. I like to, as I'm reading something, I like to like do the voices in my head. Like I like have like a whole like it
You
takes a
create the
long time.
world.
It takes a lot. I create a world in my own head, and I just love that. It's almost like it's like watching a movie, but I'm creating it. Kind of like I just love that. I feel so guilty sitting down and reading a book these days.
Yep.
Every time I try, and I was never like this younger, but since I got married really and, got a more serious job and more responsibilities, every time I go to sit down, it's always like, well, I could be doing laundry right now. And reading is intense because it's like you have to be there.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can't, it's not like a
can't be
movie.
thinking
It's not a
about other
show that
things,
you can put on in the background. And I really missed that part of my life. Like I really missed digesting books, and I really, really was just lacking that. And a couple years ago, I found Audible, which has been around forever. But I was like, I don't think I'm going to like this. I don't think I'm going to like enjoy sitting there reading with my tea, with my, how am I going to really retain everything that I'm reading? I can't believe how many books I have read through Audible, and also been able to go about the daily tasks like washing the dishes, doing the laundry, and looking for things to tidy up because I don't want this chapter. I have to like do something until I'm finished, because it's difficult to actually be doing something like work while you're listening to something. So those two things combined for me, I don't know what I feel like I'm accomplishing two things at once.
Do you feel like you're absorbing it? You're
100%.
Because some people, like, you still can't.
100%.
I can't do Audible.
Not everyone can do it, but for me, I have found that it is filled that need to retain the books and to check off books off the list that I've really wanted to. And I reread a lot too, so I'll re-listen. But I also can do it and tidy up my space, and I don't even remember doing it.
Yeah, that's
so
nice.
Love it.
I mean, I can't do Audible because firstly, it's cheating. So
it's cheating.
And I'm not a cheater, so that does not count as books read.
Throwing all the shade.
Went there.
All the shade.
I did actually attempt it, and I can't retain it for whatever reason. Like, which is
it because you need to
odd.
see it, or you need to like?
I don't know, because
I think I'm an Audible learner.
I
maybe.
experienced that effect with like zoning in, being able to do the cleaning and chores with like podcasts and polos. So I don't even have time to listen to books because that takes up all my time. But I can like zone in and listen and retain. For some reason, books I can't. And I think weirdly, I like keeping books as that piece where like I've always liked it because I literally can't do anything else when I'm reading a book.
It's so exactly.
It's
It's
so
so
true.
true.
Protect that.
You need your eyes. Whereas like I don't have any other form of entertainment where that's all that I do.
It's
like
it's
if I'm
so
watching
true.
a movie or whatever,
be
like
doing so many other things.
I am 100% always on my laptop needing to get something done. So I kind of like that forces me to be fully immersed when I'm doing it.
That's a self-care moment.
Yeah, that's my self-care moment. But I do agree that the idea of tidiness totally feels like self-care.
Yes. So true.
Yeah, it's hard to like not have additional mental clutter when you're surrounded. But on the flip side from you, now that I have my forever home that has all these rooms and two small children who make very large messes, it is a little overwhelming. Sure. And so I'm still trying to like adjust, what is tidy enough? Because my house is never going to be, at least in this stage of my life, like tidy, because it would be a full-time job.
Sure.
Like it would be nonstop because
you're like, oh, this is why people hire people to come in.
Exactly. And honestly, everyone that I know that does have a tidy home has hired help in some way, and that's just not for me right now. So like I can get one space tidied, and then by the time I finish tidying the next space, that one's a disaster, and you're just like, oh my God. So I don't want to get obsessed with it because it'll take over my life, and then I won't sleep or do anything else. But I do want it to be tidy so I can think. But the part that gets neglected is my bedroom. Because that's the part that like no one has to see. Like if we're having company, like I could just close the door. So that always gets like last on the list.
Sure.
But I think that it makes me feel the best when that's like a place of relaxation.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that has been on my mind lately of like, okay, how can I adjust the way I'm approaching all of this and keeping my home so that my bedroom can be the retreat that it's supposed to be. And like when I go to bed, I can like feel that peace because it's total chaos almost all the time right now. And I hate that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's just like, it is what it is until the kids get a little more self-sufficient and they can do a better job at like cleaning their own spaces. And then I'll have that time back. I don't know, but I agree that having that calm is like a huge part of self-care in my 30s.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So I don't really know what that feels like.
Oh yeah. To enlighten us all.
Tell us.
Rebecca.
So let's see. I don't necessarily enjoy clutter either. Like that I'm not like, whatever, but I can live in like, a little like, okay, clothes aren't folded, things are like, I just, for some reason, I don't see that.
Well, tell us about your life real quick, a little bit.
Okay,
just give us a quick 2-minute recap.
So I'm one of 5. I have 4 brothers, and I was homeschooled my whole life until college. So
that information did not need to be offered up, but it's fine.
But here's the thing. So,
but you're home all the time.
I'm home all the time.
No, you're
right.
making a mess.
School books everywhere,
for sure.
And then throw into eventually some nieces and nephews, like all in the house, clutter, constantly
living there.
Yes. So like then we had like 10, a lot of people, and we have, it was a large house growing up, but in the suburbs, so it wasn't like a mansion or anything. So there wasn't actually maybe like Christmas or something, but there's stuff everywhere all the time. So, and even my bedroom at one point, I was like sharing a room, so I didn't necessarily have, a large house, or I didn't even have a room that was at any point like pristine and beautiful. It was just stuff was everywhere. And I was active. We were doing stuff. So I had bags everywhere, clothes.
Was it on the flip side, like comforting almost to like have stuff all over the place?
It was the norm.
It was just your norm. So it didn't feel nothing. It didn't feel cluttered because it's just
correct.
It is what it is.
There were times where I was like, I just need to vacuum. Like I just want to do, because it just gets to a point where now there's so many people and all that stuff. So there is a moment where I'm like, I don't want this anymore, but I have a very high threshold to get there. Like I can tolerate a lot before I'm like, oh my gosh. Now my husband, on the other hand, it's not like that. So very different. And it's been definitely a learning experience here to try to figure out, okay, I'm not trying to like push the boundaries like intentionally, but it's like unintentionally I'm like, oh, I didn't see that. Oh shoot, let me pick that up, or let me do this. So I've had to be very intentional with like, okay, and he's brought this up and we've kind of been like, all right, at least twice a month I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, because otherwise I just don't see the mess. I don't remember to do it because it wasn't something that I necessarily grew up doing, because
it's kind of nice though to not see it.
Yeah.
Oh, like I have the problem where like I see all of it. Yeah. I just don't have the time, but that means it's constantly running in my mind of like, I need to do that. 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 And it just takes me a long time to get to it, but it's always weighing on me.
Yeah.
But like, so I know this about you.
Yeah.
Right? We know this.
Yeah.
But how much like more do you go through? Like if we're coming over for a girls' night, which we've done many times, right?
Yeah.
Your house is always perfect, like pristine,
and
tidy,
decorated.
If it's around a holiday,
can I have that in writing and then audio? And I'm going to tell Artie that, okay?
It always looks perfect.
Like I'm always like, wow, like this is, especially any type of holiday when it's decorated, like you said, like it has this like super warm, cozy feeling, but it feels like everything has its place. It doesn't even feel like there is color to be had in the home.
She's right.
So like, how do you manage to do that? And when you're like, oh, I don't even see it. And it's like, well, this is perfect.
During the holidays and any sort of like big decoration, that's when I do like thrive and being like, I want this to look beautiful. I want to give this ambiance.
But on a day-to-day,
it's probably, it's like that. And then there's some like clothes on the couch, or then there's, maybe the thing is it's so small, my house. So it's, if I don't vacuum soon, you're going to start to see the dust bunnies. Like things just appear a little bit sooner, but I'll definitely vacuum before you come over. Try to make sure that like, the sink is clean.
Sure.
Like things like that you do every single day.
Right.
But I think in the smaller house, and Joy, you'll know this, like as soon as you don't do that for 2 or 3 days, you're like, oh man.
Oh my gosh.
Like you see it immediately.
You have to like jump on it every day.
Yeah. There's a little bit of that
to make sure that it doesn't get ahead of you. Yeah. You have to do it every single day.
Yeah. So I'm just like, let's pick one room to not see the dust bunnies in.
And that's where you have to go from. Like for us, again, don't have kids running around. There's just 2 of us. It's a little bit smaller. We have a decent amount of stuff, but not an overwhelming amount. So it's easier to manage. And can I throw stuff down in our basement so you don't see it? Yeah.
Right.
So, at times it's more just simple cleaning tasks that I have to do. But
so it sounds like decluttering. In our 30s, decluttering is self-care.
Yeah.
So that there's less stuff to put away.
Next week, Marie Kondo will be here with us.
Does this bring me joy? No.
I'm not sure if it would be the best thing or like the most traumatic experience ever if she came to my house.
Oh, traumatic for me. Definitely traumatic. But she's so sweet though that I might be able to look past it.
Maybe if it wasn't televised, it would be
right.
less
if
traumatic.
it was private, no cameras.
Yeah.
No cameras.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be ready
You
for
yourself.
that.
When they take all the clothes out of the closet and put them on the bed, I'm like, that's gross. And then I moved 2 months ago and I was like, whoa. This is gross.
I am in that scenario.
How could I have so many clothes? And we got rid of a lot when
and
we
still
moved.
feel like I have
crazy.
nothing to wear.
And still feel like I have nothing. It's a sickness.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how that happens.
This is
but
another
it's
conversation.
frustrating.
Another conversation of too much stuff.
Too much stuff. Yeah, but it is true. Like decluttering mind and space is huge thing that is now super, super important. My bougie self-care thing is that I'm trying to think, maybe like a year ago now, I want to say, I was waking up in pain every single day. Like my back, my neck. I know what I'm doing. We discussed this.
I know the problem.
She didn't even get out. I don't know what I'm doing. I
actually do. I actually do. But my friend had recommended this massage therapist. And I went to her and I was just really honest. I was like, listen, I work from home and I'm working, with my children like all over me. So correcting my posture and stuff is just not happening right now. Like I am, working with my laptop on the floor while building a block tower and then changing a diaper and then lifting things that are way too heavy for me and like all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, I know I shouldn't be doing any of that. This is just where we're at. So I'm just trying to like manage the pain better right now. And it's not like I'm not going to a spa. It's not like, this whole glamorous experience. Like we're there. We're down to business. But I go like every 6 to 8 weeks. And it makes such a difference. And like just
so good
knowing that I don't have to wake up in that much pain every day is huge. Because when you do wake up in that much pain every day, you're already starting the day being like, I can't do this.
Yeah,
so
no
good.
motivation.
And so that's hard for me. Like I don't make appointments of any kind. I don't make appointments for my hair, for my nails, for my eyebrows, like nothing. I don't make time for myself. But I'm really glad that I pushed myself to do it. And then once I went I felt like I can't leave here without making another appointment because that feels uncomfortable.
Yeah, so of course
she's staring at me like I should be making my next appointment, and I'm a people pleaser. So I was just like, yes,
I'll be back.
I will take. Yes, just tell me.
I will be back in 3.5 weeks.
And I haven't been able to stop doing that. No, but it's actually really good. When you feel accountable to show up to something.
Totally.
So it is a massage. It is a little more of like, that type of self-care, but it's been great. It's
a
very
necessity.
necessary.
I guess mine would be Starbucks and nails.
That's your bougie. That's your bougie self-care.
My bougie self-care is getting a Starbucks and going to Jessica.
My husband will say all I need is a cup of coffee in my hand and my friends, and that's it.
Aww,
so I was
what
like,
a
that's
note
sweet.
to end on.
But
we're so selfish.
We are the best. I agree.
Yeah, that's all. That's what I need, and then I'm gonna have a good day.
Yes. If you have found any self-care hacks, no matter what decade of your life you're in, let us know, and maybe we will
adopt them.
Yeah. We're always
Bring them
looking
to
for
our
good
life.
ones. Yes. Let us know.